Now it's my pleasure to actually invite Lesley Harris from Accelya and Massimo Moro from Amazon Web Services to join me for a conversation about modern retailing. Hello, good morning.
Andrew.
Max, good morning.
Andrew.
All right. Okay, so welcome. Modern retailing, is a big buzz term. But what I'd like to do before we get into that, Lesley, there's been a lot of talk about Accelya in the marketplace, but we may have people here who are not quite familiar with the latest and greatest, so maybe just a moment to update folks on what's going on at Accelya.
Certainly, Henry. So Accelya is a leading global software provider to the airline industry. We really work with an open and modular platform to power our customers so that they can meet their customer needs, drive their own growth, and open up them to be able to take control of their retailing. So we support retailing from offer to settle, above and below the wing. And that means that we help customers gain control of that retailing platform for themselves. Frankly, you can see the numbers for yourself. We are proven at scale with almost 60% of NDC transactions being powered by Accelya, and we're here to stay. We have 40 years of industry experience. We're backed by Vista as for a long-term equity partnership. 2,500 employees across 10 global locations. I'm always on an airplane, as you can imagine.
Yes.
But really, we have that proven track record, and we're here to help customers take control of their future.
So against that background and against the growth that you've had, what is, amongst the momentum, what's happening with NDC and retailing at Accelya?
Right, so we have a lot going on from that perspective. So we were built with an open modular platform by design. That was how we started, and that's what the strategy is to keep it. And so to give customers that control of their retailing, we have to make that as easy as possible and meet customers where they're at. Everybody's had their own journey on the past, how they got here. Everybody has their own journey for the future. We recently launched last month, announced our first customer, Airlink, with Flex Select. And so that's an ability for customers of any size and scale to be able to take advantage of a standardized deployment, very fast deployment. I'm talking like a few months, to be able to get up to speed and be able to have their own retail and distribution.
That's
Yeah.
How fast? How fast?
90 days. So they got to get their connectivity, but 90 days, we can do it.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
really good. Massimo, AWS has been working with Accelya for a while.
Yeah.
AWS is everywhere. But what is the value that AWS brings to Accelya, and why should airlines care about this?
Okay, so first of all, hi everybody. Thank you for having me here. AWS is the largest cloud provider out there. We have the largest set of services, the largest breadth and depth of functionality in the cloud. Now, what makes AWS different from any other cloud provider is not only the technology that we are offering to our customer, but it is actually the experience that we have in the travel sector. We have, as you can see, industry veterans like myself. I have some of my architects here. You can see us all over this kind of event. So we know and we really understand the challenges that the industry has. The second thing is actually the customers and the partner that we have. We have customers that range from large airlines like United, Delta, Air Canada, the AIG Group, Ryanair, and so forth, but also partners like Accelya. And that we are proud actually to have Accelya to be one of our travel and hospitality competency partners.
Yes, as of last week.
Yes, and people ask me, what does the competency mean? So there are a variety of factors that goes into it. First of all, we validated our solution. Is the solution cost effective? Is it a solution scalable? Is it a solution secure? Does it meet the need of our customers? Because when an airline comes to me and asks me, what is your position on offer and order? What are the solutions you're bringing there? I am comfortable saying, we are working with Accelya on this. Because a partnership is as good as the worst moment that you have during your deployment or your business. Because when everything goes well, let's go get macaroon and champagne. But when something goes wrong, you want to be on the side with a partner that actually has your back. We work backward from our customer. We will put our customer at the center of everything. That is the essence of retailing, the essence of Amazon. And in fact, I actually put together this slide a few days ago. Nobody likes change. It's a journey that can be scary, but it actually doesn't need to be scary. You really need to align with a partner that has your back. So we have the experience to make that happen, and AWS as actually the partner and the customer that actually can support your business, and that is why I'm here today.
Okay, thanks. Lesley, you mentioned something a moment ago, which is the importance of having a modular solution.
Right.
And we're doing some research for Accelya, and that is one of the things we have heard in both the online research and the phone interviews that we've been doing with airline digital and distribution and other commercial executives. They really want modular solutions.
Right.
That is a critical component for how they see being able to move to retail. Most of these airlines have admitted that they're still in the early stages. Like the slide says, we are somewhere between crawl and walk on this transition. They want something that is going to be omni-channel capable. They want something that is going to be have intuitive or support intuitive customer services and experiences. Talk to me a little bit more about why modularity matters.
Sure. Well, let's think about it and make it real. It really will be a journey, right? No one's looking to make this a big bang transformation. Those are always hard and scary and frankly not feasible at all for this kind of a progression. Because even if one customer is completely on a one order and has the full transformation, you have an interline partner that's not. So essentially you have to be able to live in two worlds for a while. We have to be able to live in the past, we have to be able to live in the future, and we have to be able to do both. And so the ability to have that modularity, to be able to connect all of those pieces, that's critical. It's honestly non-optional to really make it work.
It's not. And again, in the research that we have done, we've asked airlines, how long do you expect you're going to have to support this dual world of potentially new offer order, but also backwards compatibility? The majority are expecting that to last 11 or more years.
In the software world, it is a long time.
It's a long time, you know, and so to think that you're going to have one leg in the future and the other leg in the past to keep your business or make some very tough decisions, it was mind-boggling to see that. I appreciate the honesty that people had, but what does this mean in terms of the complexity that your solutions have to be able to support?
Right, so that means that openness means that you have to have the ability to connect, and you have to have a lot of flexibility, you have to have the scalability. That's the importance of being built on AWS. That means that you can pull different things together when you're open and modular like that. You know, every airline has the piece that's most important to them, maybe that was homegrown and that is core to their sense of how they are providing their customer experience. Maybe that's one of the last things, maybe that would never move, right, you know, from that perspective. But other pieces that, you know, you want to control content and retailing content, you know, anything that lets you drive, you know, greater ancillary revenue, you know, that's an impact to the bottom line. That's a shorter term piece that gets prioritized, right?
Right. Something else that Accelya has spoken about a long time is your airline first, airline friendly.
Absolutely.
Can you expand on that a little?
Certainly. So airline, it's on our, come by the booth after, ask some questions, but it's on our booth. We are an airline first, customer first driven mindset. Airlines are our customers. Yes, we have partners and that's how some of our products are distributed, but it is an airline first and centered around our airlines serving their end customers from that experience.
Okay. And you know, NDC is a foundational component of this.
Yes.
But obviously you're working with all of the latest IATA standards, right?
Yes. So NDC we would consider the foundational layer for change, right? Like that's kind of the entry and the gateway point there. You have to have that to get started. And then you can layer on other pieces as you go and depending on your speed and ability to accept change, as Massimo was speaking of earlier.
Right. Well, and speaking of change, as we go through this transformation, you pointed out the need to support backwards and forwards. Massimo, what are the challenges that you see with the transformation that the airlines have that again, AWS and Accelya can solve that are more relevant and perhaps unique?
Okay. So we are seeing with all our customers, the sentiment to fight is actually the inertia. Keep doing what you were doing before. If you want to make a change, you have to drive the change. You have to be committed on that. But you have to start somewhere. When I see transition that lasts 10 years, 11 years, 15 years, the decision you make today, you might not be in that position by when the decision gets executed. So you want actually to create something and deliver value in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So the modularity, when we heard about modularity, it means that it is going at the pace that you want to deploy the functionality that you need that can deliver value today. If I'm talking to a CIO and they start on embarking on a project that is 3 years long, that I'm not even sure that at the end of the project that person will still be on that position. So what you want is to deliver value to the organization early on so you can support the transformation that is occurring. That is where modularity comes into the game. Mm-hmm. And we are seeing it throughout all the various opportunities we are talking about. Contact center, migration on the digital asset. Another thing that a lot of people are struggling today is creating a single source of truth for customer data. You can become a true retailer only if you work backward from your customers, if you have a 360-degree view of your customers. When I'm traveling for business or when I'm traveling with my family, it's always me, but my preference can actually change. So if you have that information, if you have that signal, now you can propose the right offer, the right product, the right bundling. For me, when I travel for business, don't offer me a bag. I'm always carry on, even if I'm staying away for a month, because I'm not going to check a bag. If I'm traveling with my girlfriend, oh, hell yeah, she's carrying on the whole house. So those are the things, although it is always me. So if you have those information, and those are the things that will make a difference. That is the thing, when we talk about innovation in the travel industry, is actually doing the basic excellent. So delivering the service you're promising to the customer. And you can only do that if you understand the customer. Mm-hmm. So being on time, delivering the bag, making a pleasant experience, giving the product that they really need, and delivering the product that they are expecting to receive. And especially, as I said before, taking care when things go wrong.
Yeah.
So when they get disrupted, how we are going to reaccommodate. And you can do that only if you really know who your customer is.
So Massimo, you said something really important there. When you're talking about customer centricity, really the PSS is flight centric. And we know that we're all trying to move to a customer centric piece, right? So data that turns into information that lets us serve our customers. And that's why NDC and the move to one order is such a strong foundation.
Right. Lesley, earlier you mentioned Airlink and your work with them, but you have another client, another real-world client that you're working with, Hawaiian. I like to call it the happiest airline in the world.
Yes.
You never see unhappy people getting on Hawaiian Airlines or getting off a Hawaiian Airlines plane because it's Hawaii. And so I'm just wondering if maybe you could share a little bit about what your work is with Hawaiian.
Certainly. Happy they're so here. I think when Hawaiian approached Accelya, they were looking for a provider that could blend that technological expertise as long as match them with their focus on customer first. Hawaiian is very customer focused, has lots of creative ways to provide solutions to their customers and very successful at it. So it's been a great partnership from that perspective. You look at those numbers, great amount of shopping and, ticketed transactions that have gone through. But it's really been the strength of that partnership and the ability to partner and solution together that I think has really been the strength and the foundation of that piece.
Right. We're almost out of time, so my last question for you both. Through the research we've done, we found that airlines have admitted they're at the early stages. Their C-level executives, namely CEOs, CFOs, aren't quite yet focused on the retailing thing.
Right.
You know, NDC, yes, retailing, not quite so much. So what advice would you give to the airline executives who are in the room and the managers who are in the room to help them get their C-level executives on board as they are navigating this journey to this very important transformation?
Well, come talk to Accelya first. We are the leader. But more than that, I think you have to communicate that this is a journey. This is one step at a time, and that there is a progression towards one order. And you know, we heard from a customer yesterday that it's hard to explain that to people that don't live in this world every single day, right? So how do you make that real? How do you drive that transformation? How do you work it internally from that perspective? And so I would say take it piece by piece. And I think then when you're making that decision, you're looking for people that have the ability to be flexible, because your path isn't going to be one straight bullet forward. You need people that have the right power, the right scalability, and frankly, you need a partner that's proven and that's going to be there for the long term, because this is not an overnight one-time transaction.
Right. Max?
Well, from my side, I have frequent interaction with CEOs, CFOs, and so forth. And at a certain point, it says, okay, we know all the corporate politics, all the objectives there, but look, we are a travel organization. We are travel suppliers and so forth. We are in the travel and hospitality. So let's be hospitable, like Glenn Fogel says from Booking.com. Put yourself on the shoes of the travelers. There is no reason for us to exist if we do not have a traveler. What is the experience you would like to have? How would you like to delight your customer? It can be very simple. So focus on that and see what you have to do if that is the experience you are envisioning for your customer, and work backward from that. That is the first thing you should look at. The second thing is start somewhere. Doesn't need to be transformation, doesn't need to be complicated, it can be very simple. Start somewhere and have that North Star. Whatever I'm going to do is working backward from my customer and delight them. It can be an order, an offer, it can be clickstream analytic on your website, it can be a contact center, it could be a navigation like United did inside the airport. Those are the things that delight your customer, because people travel once, twice a year. Now there is all this growth of the pent-up demand, but things are normalizing. Not everybody is like us that travel 50 times a year, and we know everything. We know how Charles de Gaulle Airport works. But for a person that has an hour connecting time across the airport to go back home, how do you help them navigate through the airport? How do you provide an offer or a service that help them to go through it when it is the first time, and maybe not the last, to go through this thing? So do these things. Put yourself on the shoes of the customer, see what makes sense for them, and then act accordingly. Those are very simple suggestions that I'm giving everybody.
Yeah. I would just say the ability that we are built with AWS and now with our NDC pieces, as we're doing the orders, those are going into a database, right? So we're starting people on seamlessly on that path to one order without anyone really even having it seamless, right? That's what you want, painless. You just want to be able to have taken that first step and it didn't even hurt, right? And now the next piece comes. So we're just looking for the pieces where we can make the best difference in value to the customers step by step.
Great. All right. We are out of time, and we've got Olivier Kruger coming up from Lufthansa, so we want to be on time.
Well, we look
for
forward
him.
to talking to you. Please come by the booth, and we'll be happy to chat.
Great.
Thank
Happy
you.
to connect.